It's a great point. Now, listen, you said you're back in Philadelphia now. You're just a couple miles away from the ECW arena and the old stomping ground. I just talk a little, because we've got a lot of Philadelphia fans who grew up loving you. I just talk about your time in ECW, and so what are the highlights when you look back on your career and you look through the annals of all the things you've done? What are your biggest highlights from your ECW period, your time in Philadelphia, your time in the hardcore age coming up?
Well, I came into my own there. That's why I learned how to put it all together and be a superstar, because it does take a different set of ingredients. It doesn't just happen naturally through consistency. I had to learn the right way to do everything, to get across the story to the crowd of what's happening in a match, and to place the amazing moves in the right spot to get the most reaction out of them, and just everything about the business. I learned to put it all together about 1998, when I won the ECW Television Championship from Bam Bam Bigelow. That match will always stand out as a pivotal match in my career, and one that the fans always remember, and not just for the match, but because of my moves. And that's great, because I've always gotten ahead and stood out by my moves. Before I had my first match, I was thinking of moves that I'd never seen done before. And so people remember that match with Bam Bam Bigelow? You dove off the top rope way out into the fifth row? Yeah, I do remember that. It was a great memory for me. I loved teaming with Sabu, and I loved the reaction that we got from the fans, whether we were teaming up as tag team champions or wrestling against each other for the TV title or for anything. Any match. Those were great memories. A lot of people remember specific matches, like the Heatwave '98 pay-per-view. This is me and Sabu against the Japanese guys, Hayabusa and Sakuchi, however the hell you say his name.
Yeah.
And anyway, I remember that match. And there's single matches that stand out, and overall, I just loved being part of the growing company, because what we stood for was so different, and that's close to my heart, because I'm different, and I pride myself on being one of a kind. Not a follower. I never tried to be like somebody else. I just tried to do my own thing, and if I was going to inspire somebody, I would hope that would be something that people would get from watching me in my career, was be yourself. Everyone else has already taken.
That's awesome. Mike Chiara, you got a question?
Yeah, Rob, you're obviously still one of the top guys in TNA, but, the company's continually trying to build toward the future. So I was wondering if you see one or maybe two guys on the current roster that you see kind of carrying the flag for TNA and being the top guys moving forward into the future.
That, I guess, requires looking at some guys that maybe aren't built yet, but that are being built, if I understand the question right. I think right now, RVD, Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle were some of the biggest names in the industry. Of course, it doesn't get any bigger than Hulk Hogan, Sting's there. But guys like me and Jeff, we can still do what we could do 20 years ago. We're still physically at our best, and moving forward, if we're still in the front line, that's going to be fine for us. Some of the other guys that haven't quite been there yet, but they're really close. If they step up and they take that, then they got to also, you got to keep in mind, not only do they have to have all the tools to make it a spot they deserve, but it's business. They have to be able to sell tickets, and that's what it's always about. The younger guys never seem to understand that, but if people aren't buying tickets to come and watch you wrestle, then how can you complain that you have any leverage at all? Because it is a business. Some of the guys are coming up. Look at Austin Aries. He shot up real quick. As soon as he came around, I was watching him, and he's different too. The moves that he does are different. He found a way to make himself a niche. He's a great wrestler, and boom. All of a sudden, I started saying he's the guy to watch. All of a sudden, he's a heavyweight champion. I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised if his future ahead continues to be very bright, because there's not a lot holding that guy back. So let me drop that name, Austin Aries, for you. It's one to watch out for.
Brandon Galvin, question?
Yeah, Rob. Jerry Lynn's been on the retirement tour lately, and I was just wondering if you thought about who you would like your last match to be with, or if you thought about how you would like to go out of the business.
I had not given this question any thought, but my initial reaction when you asked me is Sabu. I can't think of anybody else that I would rather wrestle than Sabu if I was in that predicament where it was my last match. And I think Sabu probably feels the same way. He'll probably be closer to his last match than myself, but that could happen. Jerry Lynn, I'll always stand by this. Favorite matches out of my career. The competition, the athleticism that we brought out of each other and out of ourselves to have those matches. And every time we'd step in the ring, it seemed like we were raising the bar, beating our last match. And we got so much out of that, as did the industry. So I'm grateful for that. Hate to see that Jerry Lynn's retiring, but I guess it happens. I guess not everyone can be like RVD and not age.
Listen, we had Jerry Lynn on a few weeks ago, and he said the same thing. He said between the two of you guys, that you'd be leaving with black eyes and busted up chests, and you guys would just bring the best out of each other. What was it about Jerry Lynn's style and the way you guys worked in the ring together that made that feud for years and years, and through companies and everything? That feud stood the test of time.
Yeah, it was definitely just what came out of the match. I remember the first time I wrestled him. It was slated to be like a 8-minute match. That's what they wanted me to just kind of roll over him and expected that I would. And I saw something in Jerry that I thought I could bring out, and I thought we could really have a good match. And the first time I wrestled him at the ECW arena on TV, they weren't really doing that much with him. He was kind of on a different level than I was, but we had this match. It must have been 20, 25 minutes. We went all over the arena. My hair was pulled out. My nose was bloody. My outfit was ripped. I had splinters in my ass. And after the match, when I beat him, the way the crowd reacted, I loved that. Like, I felt like I deserved that applause because I worked my ass off, because I gave, I sacrificed, and the fans appreciated me. And you can't fake that. It's real. It's heart. And Jerry had the heart too. And that first match that we had, I loved the chemistry that came out of it. Couldn't wait to wrestle him again. And it only just went. It went from there, just deeper and deeper and better and better.
Michael Cahill, question?
Yeah, Rob. I know you said you're not sure exactly when you would hang it up, but do you have any aspirations? I know you said you're not interested in maybe doing the front office side of wrestling, but do you have any aspirations outside of wrestling once you do decide to call it quits?
I have a ton of things that I want to do and that I currently do put some energy into. I don't know how long I'll be wrestling professionally, but I have a million things that I work on: production projects, writing projects, acting projects, a ton of stuff. I have an office up on Hollywood Boulevard, and I spend some time there kicking out projects. I have like 3 or 4 books that I'm currently putting some energy into, but they're going to take so long, especially because I don't have any time. Sometimes months goes by before I even can spend an hour working on something. But that's just the way that it is. So I have a lot of stuff I talk about, a lot of stuff I don't talk about. Just because it's not ready to expose yet, and there's no need for people to be asking me about projects that I know 2 or 3 years down the road are probably still going to be trying to materialize. But yeah, you don't have to worry about me picking up a wrench and changing your oil because I ran out of interest when I can't wrestle. There's so much out there, and even and a lot of projects aren't even mine. Like, I have my own projects that I'm producing, but I'm also attached to other people's projects. There's several acting projects, horror movie, comedy, documentary, action. There's tons of stuff that may or may not materialize. A lot of that stuff is happening at its own will and its own speed. And then stuff that I'm in charge of, I partner up with a bunch of different people with a bunch of different projects, and I'm trying to keep them all moving. And when the time is right, I always I always use robvandam.com to let everybody in on what I've got to say.
All right, well, tell everybody where they can find you. I know you're going to be at the Tower Theater this Saturday, January 5th, with TNA doing your show. But tell them where they can find you on the Internet, where they can reach you and everything.
Yeah, robvandam.com is the hub. I always try to keep. If you go there, everything branches off of there. You can see my Twitter, The Real RVD, Facebook, everything off of there. I do audio blogs, which I just left a few minutes ago. One, you can hear those at robvandam.com, and like all the interviews, like this interview. When I get a link for this interview, I got a window on my homepage that I'll post it up so people can go there and keep up with me and see like all the latest interviews that I've done and the blogs, what I've got to talk about, new whatever. We got a new new shirts and new products, new projects all the time. So robvandam.com. RVD TV, by the way, which you may or may not be familiar with. I used to do this online TV episode, and it's been like I think 3 years since I did the last one. I had problems with my webmaster, and it just led to one problem after another. But finally, after 3 years, I just started RVD TV back up again. So if you go to my website, you'll see the first episode, Training Like a Champ, to show you how you can try to be an X Division champion. So it's me working out in my own personal gym, the Van Dam Gymnasium in California, and I'll add a new episode like every couple of weeks now that we're back up. I also do RVD radio sporadically, because again my schedule conflicts with that a lot. But all the stuff that I do, and I keep pretty busy, all of it I try to keep center hubbed at robvandam.com.
Awesome. So listen, don't forget everybody in the Philadelphia area, TNA at the Tower Theater, January 5th. That'll be Saturday night. Listen, I mean, we appreciate you coming on the show, and thank you so much for your time, man.
Right on, man. Thanks for letting me talk to the city of brotherly love once again from your station, Philly. I love you. I know you love me too. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Tower Theater.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, man.
All right, you too. Thank you.